Welcome to the Under the Hat podcast,
the show where we talk about everything and anything that is top of mind in education.
The goal is to provide meaningful conversations to what is currently happening in our classrooms.
Stories, pains,
moments of success.
We want to hear it all.
Hey friends, welcome back to Under the Hat. We are sitting here in episode 75. I'm super pumped because we're about to hit March. And so that means we're about to kick off with March Madness. I believe, Sophie, correct me if I'm wrong, the first weekend is next weekend?
Yeah, it's next weekend.
That happened fast.
March 7th. Happened really fast.
Yeah. So for those that are anticipating, watching, listening right now, so what should we expect that first weekend?
That first weekend, we have had our 16 competitors, real educators out in the world that are coming in, and they're going to compete in a bracket type competition to go head to head, showcasing their favorite edu protocol and tool to use with the edu protocol. So they're going head to head, and you, the audience, get to vote for the best presenter. So we'll have 16 showing. We have tried to streamline it a little bit this year. We are going to have the videos already ready to go. So Steve and I will probably be the only ones live with you on that first round. But then the next weekend on March 14th, we will have the 8 that make it through the first round. They are live to interact with you and be part of the rest of the show as they go through rounds 2, 3, and 4, the final countdown. And you guys get to vote live during those rounds. So definitely make sure you show up, watch it, and vote, because you get to decide who's the reigning champion.
Yes, that's so good. One question, a few folks have DM'd me asking this question, like, can they only vote live? Like, will they be able to vote after we're live?
So round 1 is going to be asynchronous. Round 2 is going to start asynchronous before we actually get to the episode. Round 3 has to be live because it's live right then and there.
Yep.
Round 4, the final round, is usually live, and we announce it right there on the show. But I mean, I'm flexible.
Yeah. No, that's good. Looking forward to that. Super excited. This will fill up most of our March. We have another guest or so in the month of March, but we're excited. And as always, we're super pumped that you all are watching, listening, and participating. And the fact that we get to collaborate with John Carippo and the Edu Protocol team is a thrill. So yeah, excited.
Yeah, it's really cool. But today, we are tackling a topic that is the heartbeat of the modern classroom: developing student agency. To help us navigate this, we have someone in the studio who has been doing the work since 2002, from the library to the principal's office and everywhere in between. If there's a certification, a degree, or a Technologist of the Year award in the educational landscape, our guest likely has it. She isn't just talking change, she's architecting it as the founder and CEO of Desiree Alexander Consulting and the Deputy Director for the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana. She is a Google certified innovator, an Apple teacher, a former librarian of the year, and the author of Ready to Be an Educational Leader. Dr. Desiree Alexander, we are so glad you're here. I'm super psyched. Before we get into the strategy of the student agency, your journey is a masterclass in dedication to the craft. For our listeners who are meeting you for the first time today, can you take us through that path? What exactly led you to the work today?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Steve and Sophie. Thank you for that amazing introduction. I appreciate it. And my journey from, first I was born and then, no, but my journey, I've always wanted to be an educator. And if anyone has ever heard me on a podcast, they were like, oh, here she goes. The same story, but it's my story, so I can't change it. But I've always wanted to be an educator. I always wanted to be a teacher. I didn't know what type of teacher and things like that until middle school. Fell in love with ELA, fell in love with English, had amazing teachers, thank goodness. And became a middle school teacher. Always wanted to teach high school, only wanted to teach seniors. So, of course, that means I became a middle school teacher. And absolutely fell in love with it, fell in love with the craziness, fell in love with the chaos. Um, Fell in love with the age of the kiddos and them just not knowing if they want to be, children or adults, well, from 1 hour to the next. It was just amazing chaos, and I absolutely fell in love with it and loved it. And then became a high school teacher, teaching middle school students who didn't quite make it to the high school level, so helping them in that area. Then became a librarian. Absolutely fell in love with that role.
Mm.
Became a librarian, which is where I kind of got more into technology. Became a middle school librarian and then a high school librarian, and then became a instructional technology supervisor for a large school district. And then I kind of pivoted and became the first just an employee, and then eventually the deputy director for the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana. Absolutely fell in love with that role, so I've been here for a while. Also, within that time that I was an instructional technology supervisor, I started my company, Desiree Alexander Consulting, and fell in love with that mainly because I usually fall in love with the role where I feel like I am being helpful. Where I feel like I'm being helpful, I feel like I'm making a difference. There was one of those roles that I just talked about that I did not say I fell in love with because I didn't fall in love with it, because I didn't feel those things. But usually I do fall in love with the role where I feel like I'm helping others. So my life is very fulfilled right now because of the two roles that I'm doing right now. But that was kind of my educational journey without getting too far into details. That was my educational journey, and all of my experiences have been in Louisiana and Texas.
Nice. Question.
Fantastic.
Question. Because I get curious about these. I'm on your website right now, and uh, educate me on perhaps Louisiana acronyms. So there's something called the SLLA. Is that the admin test? I guess is that what that is?
Yes, it's in about half of the United States. So about half of the United States
Mhm.
requires the SLLA exam for people that want to become educational leaders, become certified in educational leadership. So it's a certification exam. I started working with a company when I wanted to become certified in educational leadership in Louisiana. I went through a program, an alternative certification program,
Mhm.
and started working for that program again without getting into all the details. Started working with that program, and that's when I started doing test prep. I realized a couple of years earlier with the librarian test in Texas, which was a beast. I'm sure it's probably even worse now, but it was a beast, and I passed it and realized I could help others. So that's when I first started doing kind of test prep stuff, and realized I was good at it, and realized I actually loved it. And then started doing this test prep around just if they wanted me to come to Mississippi, if they wanted me to come, I would go and do the test prep. So then I decided the test prep was like 7 hours. And then it became 8 hours, and I was like, I can't keep doing this. So I created an online course. So now we have the online course, and people are like, well, can you do like a written online course? And I was like, well, no, that's not how that works. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. And they're like, well, we really want our book. I was like, well, you can do the online course. But then eventually I went ahead and did the book, which is kind of the online course in book form. But yeah,
Mm.
that's the SLLA.
That's cool. Yeah. And I just love like the bit of your story of like, just leaning into like this is where I feel useful. And I think oftentimes when people are like, I'm not happy in my job, and not just in education generally, right? Like, I think that's like people look at it like, well, I'm just happy, but they can't identify why. And you have that why. And I just love that about your story.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I'm very introspective. I like to know kind of why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, even if it's a detriment to myself, even if it's a negative on myself. I
Hmm.
still like to know why I'm feeling like I'm feeling. So I'm always questioning that, whether it be dealing with jobs or people or whatever it is. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Let's look at that.
Mm.
Love that. I reflect all the time. Too much, probably.
Too much. Yeah.
I just wanted to, like, middle school kids. Yes, love them. That's yes. I recently went back into like subbing, and I have been in the elementary world twice now, and it was third grade, which was a totally different, because I was a middle school teacher. Totally different environment, a lot of hand holding, a lot of things, and then I went into fifth grade, and I was like, okay, I could do, I could do this. Um, and so, and then you said that you went from middle school to high school. So I was just sort of like questioning, well, what is one of the bigger differences there when it comes to like student engagement and maybe even building those relationships with kids that are in middle school and kids that are in high school?
I'm going to have to speak from the librarian perspective more, because when I taught in high school, it was still kind of, I think we called it like 8.5. So it was still kind of on the middle school, it was kind of in
Mm.
that middle between middle school and high school. So that was a little bit different. And then, but from the librarian perspective, I really did not want to go to high school. I wanted to stay in the middle school, because that was all of my experience, and I was really afraid. I was like, these big students, I don't want to deal with these. Completely opposite of what my life plan was, because I only wanted to deal with seniors, and I was like, I don't want to deal with these big students. I mean, I don't know. I have a goofy personality. They're gonna call me lame, and I'm gonna kill them, and I swear, like, they are, I called my high schoolers, they're big middle schoolers. They still have the same heart, they still have the same ambitions, they still have the same goals. Some of their problems are a little bit bigger, but it's the same problems. So it's just, um, man, it's just on a larger scale, I guess, if that makes any sense. Um, where my middle schoolers, everything wasn't future heavy. Like, the mistakes they made, they still had a lot of time to fix. Where some of my high schoolers, some of the mistakes they made may affect their colleges. They may affect the next steps in their life. So that's what I mean by kind of it's more on a larger, kind of deeper scale. But the students themselves, they're the same. They're the same. I don't know why I was scared. Um, they're the same love, the same discussions. I mean, just I absolutely fell in love with my high school students. So, yeah, in that respect, they're all students. They all want structure. They all want love. They all want respect. They all want the same things. So, yeah, that's how I would answer that.
Yeah, for sure. I,
Yeah.
I often feel that now, almost exclusively being in front of adults now, right? In the teacher prep space. And I'm like, y'all are just like my high school kids. uh and I love that you kind of talked about how like they all just need love, right? And understanding. And in the same time though, they try to get away with the same stuff that the high school kids do. And what's funny about that space is like you all are trying to do exactly what your students are doing to you. So
Yep,
um
it's called. I mean, it's called being human. If
yeah.
it's called being human. It's called ethics. It's called. It's the same thing with adults, with middle school, with high school, with elementary. Some people are wired to get away what they can get away with. I don't care what
Hmm.
age they are.
Yep.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, you just deal with it on a larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking around your website and like your Pinterest and like all of your wonderful content, I think what I really appreciate is how diverse it is. So sometimes, and I'm not saying this in a negative way for or for other folks, but like sometimes I'm like, oh, this person's all AI, or like, and I think I've historically put myself in a box, right? Where like, oh, you want to talk about project based learning? Yeah, go talk to Steve. And at Cami, that was often the case. Oh, it's PBL, talk to Steve. And but like there was a lot of other things that I think I do offer, but it's like almost from like a branding standpoint. It was like I locked myself up. So I do appreciate, like, if you look at like your website and your Pinterest and such, like there's like not a thing in there that I feel is left out, which is completely amazing.
And it's a lot of different levels too. So from like doing your emoji reactions in your email to way tech heavy. I just appreciate that as well.
Yeah, I do what interests me. When I first started, presenting and things like that, I would present on things that people asked me to, whether I liked it or not, whether I was a fan of it or not.
Mm.
Like as long as I understood what it was, I never will forget doing a presentation on depth of knowledge questions. And, I was like, yeah, I do that in the classroom. Of course, I can present on it, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I'm sure the audience was fine with it, but I wasn't. I was like, I was bored out of my mind presenting. I almost wanted to like walk out in the middle of it and be like, are y'all good with leaving early? Because I don't like anything that I'm saying. And that's when I realized I need to stop that. Like, if I don't like it, I'm sure they won't like it. Like, I could try to make it entertaining, but if I'm not into it, then what's the point? So, because somebody else can do it. Like, I don't, I'm not delusional enough to think I'm the only one to train on whatever topic I'm training on, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only one that could do it well. So I'm like,
Mm.
somebody else could have gotten this presentation and like knocked it out the park. So why am I here? Why am I doing it? So that's when I realized I only want to present on the things I actually care about and the things that I feel like I have something to say about. And that is, classroom management, that is equity, that is student agency, that is technology, that is, different things. And there have been things that I say no to because I'm like, either I'm just not there yet, like I don't really care about it yet, including AI. I just started presenting on AI. And I felt like I'm like 5 years late, and I really don't care because I wasn't really interested in it. So I'm like, and I know people who like are awesome. So I'm like, go get her. I'll give you her email address. She's all about AI. I'm not. So it's just one of those things where I'm not going to present on something until I want to present on it, until I feel like I'm interested in it. And I can use it and I can actually tell you like why I'm telling you this versus that. Um, so that's what I think kind of opened the box for me instead of just being like the tech person. Because I have, even done podcasts where they've been like, well, you're the technology guru. And I will like very politely say, oh, I actually do more than that. And they'll be like, oh, I didn't mean, I was like, no offense at all. But I do more than that. Like I'm not going to sit in the box anymore. And I'm going to make sure that, the box is open. If I want to jump in the box, great. If I don't, great. But I do like presenting on topics that I actually care about. So that's what kind of opens my box if we keep that
Yeah.
metaphor going.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I feel, and that's really like the authenticity of it comes out when you're presenting. And it's filling your bucket, and so it's also going to be filling ours because you're being real. You're not forcing it. I can't imagine. No, and I can. I had to do this, and not that I don't believe in like the science of reading. I'm just not passionate about the science of reading. And I like, yes, I believe people need to be like doing the science of reading and like understand it and stuff. But like, girl, go and get someone that is like, and I've had to do a presentation on it before, and it just wasn't there. Like that spark, that energy wasn't there like it is if I'm talking about student centered learning in a math classroom and doing real world applications and using AI to differentiate instruction. That is like, yes, give it to me. But like, yeah, there's just some things where I'm just like, meh, someone else could do that.
Yeah, and it's
So
good
I get
to
it.
know that. It's good to know that and to say like, and I know some people are like, hey, a dollar is a dollar, and they'll take whatever to do whatever. And that's look, do what you do. Do what you do. Do you boo? Do what you do. But But I know it's just not me. I'm not going to be happy. I'm going to feel the difference while I'm presenting. And at
Mm,
the end, I'm going to feel like, oh, that, I'm sure it was fine, but it wasn't great. So
hmm.
because my heart really wasn't in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like, and the other thing too is you want to do a good job. Like, you want to feel good. It's not about the money, right? At that point, it's like you want to feel good that you made some sort of impact. And like, if someone wants me to go in and talk about blended learning, yeah, I would love that. But if some people are like, hey, Steve, could you do like a technology session for like lower elementary or elementary? I
I'll put
no.
Steve in an elementary session.
Don't. And at Cami, I had to do that awkwardly. And I just remember I got better at it, right? And I think I learned a lot and I appreciate that. But like if someone wanted elementary, that's Avra. When we're over that, that's her jam, right? And so
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like Dr. D said, like box, I say bucket, right? Like you want your bucket filled. And if it's not gonna fill it, why put yourself out like that? Um,
Agree. Agree. And I do
yeah.
think it affects what people get from it. So the focus is honestly helping that teacher, and you're not the best person to do that. Why are you doing it? Same thing that I tell my
Mm,
teachers about students. If you don't have that relationship with a student and that student needs help, you gotta let your ego go and say, hey, go get help from Sophie, go get help from Steve. I know you have a relationship with him. Please go talk to him, because it's about that student getting help. It's not about that student getting help from you. And I feel like it's the same thing as a
mm,
presenter. It's not about that teacher hearing it from me. It's about that teacher hearing it and the light bulb going off. Because I can say it and then Sophie can say it and they'll be like, oh, Sophie, that. And I'm like, I just said the same thing. But it was about hearing it from her. So that's
Mm.
why I feel like in this like presenter space and PD space, there's enough space for everybody, because somebody needs to hear it from somebody else and not me. So our true goal is to make sure that the students get help from the teacher, who gets help from the, whoever's doing the PD. Then that should be our main goal. So if I know that I'm not the best person to talk about that topic, I'm going to excuse myself.
yeah.
I love that.
I think too, this conversation super relevant for teachers themselves
Yes.
because so about half my audience that I'm teaching on the regular, half of them already in classrooms, like their first year kind of thing. And some of them come up to me like, Steve, I love how you teach. I just feel like uh, this is why I would not. I'm like, great, good. If I'm your non-example, and we kind of talk about like everybody's going to have that passion in the classroom, right? And so for me, that passion was like, how do I help kids that look like me, right? How do I help kids that were at risk, right? That were confused and they don't understand why they're confused. And I have candidates where like they're really passionate about, helping students with disabilities. Like I just had a recent conversation with a candidate around that. I'm like, lean into that. Like whatever it is, lean into what you're passionate about because that's going to A, keep you there longer, and B, make you way more effective. And I think having that messaging for teachers, like it's okay that you're not the go-to for every single topic that we encounter.
Absolutely. I talk about that in my classroom management class, because we
Mm.
don't talk about it enough. That it's okay to find your niche in education. It's
Yep.
okay to say, I don't want to teach fill in the blank. It's okay to say that. Like, you're not racist. You're not, a misogynist. You're not. If you say like, I am really good teaching at an all boys school because I connect with boys, that is okay to say. Like, it's okay to say, and it's okay to go after that. It's okay to say like, I can never teach elementary because I would make all the kids cry, they would hate me, and I would get fired, because that's not my jam. Like, and if somebody would look and be like, oh, that's just heartless, the babies need you. No, the babies don't need me, because I'm not going to be good for them and they're not going to be good for me. So I tell people to get out of your own way. If you say like, I
Mm.
don't like, I know my niche, like after teaching at, I don't know why I've taught at so many like different kinds of campuses and stuff like that. I mean, it helps. But after teaching, poverty students, rich rich students, middle class students, um, magnet school, not magnet school, neighborhood school, all the different things. I know that my niche are poorer students who are academically gifted, like the magnet students who
Mm.
don't have it all at home. Though that's my niche. So it's okay to say that. So if someone would come to me and say, "Hey, I need you to go back in the classroom," the first thing I say, well, who am I teaching? Because I know that I'm best in a certain area and I don't want to do other stuff. And it's okay for you to say, I'm not going to be best for those kids. So if you say, yeah, hey, I'm putting you in the middle of like super duper poverty, super duper low academic, that I'm not going to be best for those kids. So it's
Yeah.
not about like, I don't want to say that because no, I'm not going to be my best for those kids. And I need to get out of my own way because we have a teacher that's going to be a superstar for those kids. That's what they need, and that teacher needs them. So just get out of your own way trying to stand on pedestals and try to have a message, because our kids don't have a lot of time. So they don't have a whole year to waste with you. So I'd rather
Mm.
you dig deep in yourself. And if you're teaching third grade math and you hate it and you're having a horrible year, I need you to start looking at getting out of there. Like, I don't know if it's the math or I don't know if it's the third grade, but you need to go somewhere else, because it's not helping. Like, you being the martyr and you being like, but these kids need me, but they don't, because you're not being your best. So because this is not your area, whether it's the wrong school, whether it's the wrong grade level, what you need to go find where you can shine, because if you're shining, then your kids are going to be shining. So yeah, sorry, it's one of my like soapboxes that I tell teachers. I'm like, you don't have to just stay miserable in your area. Go find something else. Go try something else.
Well, and can we just like start normalizing teachers looking after themselves in that way, right?
Yes.
Like if you're a lawyer and you're like, "Oh, I don't want to practice here anymore." That lawyer just moves on. But if it was a teacher, be like, "Oh, you're abandoning those kids." I'm like, "Yeah, but what are all the other moving parts, right?" And so, like, to me, like, leadership 101, part of that, and Dr. D, like, feel free to agree, disagree, but like putting people in the right places
Yes.
is just so critical, because when they're not in the right places, that's where you really to start to see breakdowns, right? System wide, but also like as humans. Yeah.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, and we're getting into kind of the weeds of like, like kind of the different things that you've done, Dr. D, from an organizational standpoint, from a leadership standpoint. Your official title, like your role. Let's see if I can pull that up, because Sophie was. It's a long title.
The Deputy Director for the Associated Professional Educators of Louisiana.
Yes.
Yes. So, okay. So educate me a little bit, being naive out here in California. Is that under the Department of Ed? Is that, or is that
No.
something
So
else?
we're
Okay.
actually a nonprofit, and
Got it.
we
Okay.
are the only state professional organization that's not a union. So we are the
Mm.
non-union in the state of Louisiana that still, gives teachers and educators and leaders their professional liability insurance, helping them with attorneys, giving them
Oh.
professional development, all the stuff you can kind of think of that a union does. But
Hmm.
we don't give money to political candidates. We don't do that kind of stuff. So
Hmm.
that's why certain states, now not every state, but certain states, of course, usually they'll have the unions, and then certain states have a professional organization that's not a union. And that's who we are.
That's good. I with respect to unions, I have like a way different context, because like unions out here are very different, for better or worse. But so like it just sounds like this role, what you all do, like it's more or less like that service that you're providing, maybe that gap that exists.
Absolutely. Our entire, like, that's everything we do is in service of educators,
Hmm.
which are in service of students. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Like literally everything we do is serving, and that's why I'll say, whether it's through we call it APEL, APEL, whether through APEL or through Educator Alexander, which I call EA. So whether it's APEL or EA, I'm serving. So I think that's why I'm so fulfilled with my life right now, because literally, no matter what hat I'm wearing, no matter what role I'm doing, I'm serving a teacher somewhere doing something. And I am just eating it up. And I tell
Yeah.
people I am very blessed. I know I am very blessed because I am doing exactly what I want to do. Um, yeah, my worst day is because I have too much to do, but it's
Mhm.
still all that I love to do. So it's
Yeah.
really, yeah, I'm very, very blessed in my role right now.
Yeah. Love that. I think the fact
fantastic.
that the word Louisiana was in that is part of the title. I was like, wait, is that for the state? But
Yeah,
yeah,
so we
no,
are only in Louisiana. So,
got it.
like through EA, I'm everywhere, but for APEL, I'm only in Louisiana. So, all of our focus, where like the two or maybe more throughout unions or more nationwide, we are only in Louisiana. So we only focus on Louisiana education. So we only like all of our money goes back into Louisiana
Mhm.
education with donations and scholarships and grants and all the things that we do.
Mhm.
So our entire focus is Louisiana education, which is another reason that people join us versus other organizations.
Yeah. Love that.
You can really
So,
get specialized and become an expert
Yeah,
in the needs of Louisiana teachers. And
yeah, and all of our people
yeah,
have been Louisiana educators. Like we've all been in Louisiana classrooms all across the state.
mm,
So we're our focus is home, and like I tell people, we all live here, so we want we want Louisiana education to be good, and we have a stake here. We're not coming from Oklahoma to just come recruit and go back to Oklahoma. Like we need good educate. So our everything that we do is to further our state education.
I love that.
back at home, give it back at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Love that. Uh, so Dr. D, I know that you have a lot of wisdom and knowledge around, student agency. Um, one question we do have is like, so I see the term student agency almost at every conference.
Hmm.
Like it's like, oh, let's throw that term in there, right? And sometimes I've turned up to those sessions and I'm like, is this actually on student agency? And so I think for some folks, that term, when they see it, it's perceived now at this point like just a buzzword. And instead of like that classroom reality. So, what is the first barrier you think we need to talk about when we need to make that term more real?
I think making sure that people understand actually what it means and what it entails. I think first of all, when like your statement is so loaded because that's our culture in the United States right now is buzzwords. Let's be real.
Mhm.
Everything is a buzzword, even if it's something that started off as valid and started off as a movement or started off as whatever, it becomes a buzzword. Like just like it becomes
Mm.
something you could put on a t-shirt. It becomes something and it loses its meaning as it does. So I think not just through the just in like life in general in the United States, at least, we are a buzzword country. So we take it and we lessen the meaning of it by making it a buzzword. So I think the same thing happened with student agency. I think it was a while ago, probably more than 10 years, student agency was new, and student choice and student voice, and everybody was like, oh my gosh, look at this new stuff. And we went for it, but then it just lessened and it became a buzzword. And then the next thing was at during COVID, it was equity. Everybody was DEI, everybody was equity, everybody, like people I never seen in my life teaching about equity was now an equity advisor. I'm like, okay. And then that went away, right? Now it's like you can't say DEI, you can't say, oh my gosh. And now it's AI. Everybody and their mom is an AI queen and king. So it's what happens. And part of it is consumerism, and part of it is wherever the dollar is, that's where that will become the new hot thing until it doesn't. So I think the same thing happened with student agency. Where if I put Google in the title, if I put AI in the title, if I put student agency in the title, I'm gonna get people from that section to come, no matter what I really talk about in the session. I just need to put it in the title to get that group to come to my session. And I think AI is definitely the thing right now. Like they'll be like AI with crayons. I'm like, what? And then you'll go and learn about crayons. I'm like, where's the AI? Like, what's happening? So I mean, they'll just put AI in the title for anything. But and I think the same thing happened with student agency. So I think the way to kind of get it back is to even if it's a session about like AI, I mean student agency with a with a certain twist. I think starting with like what is student agency is helpful because I think people think student agency may be one thing and it's not. So I think starting with that can help come back. Just starting with like what is student agency or what is student agency to you, right? Because I have a session where I talk about like student voice and student choice and the difference between those two and how you get kind of deeper into student agency. And I think people will say student agency and only look at choice or only look at voice or only, don't go deeper into what does it truly mean to have my student, what is agency in general, right? Like what does it mean for me to have agency? What does that truly mean? Is it giving them a choice board and having them pick like what? So it's just one of those things that you have to meet people where they are with the definition of what is it, but then going into what is it, how can we go deeper into it, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You said meet people where they are. That line hits in my core, like for sure, for real. Like not just your students, but adults too. Like wherever you have people coming to you for support and help, and you're serving them, right? And whatever they're coming to you with, wherever they are in their journey, meet them where they are and then go from there. And that was something that was really big when I was a coach at the district level. Like the teachers would be like, they were supposed to learn that last year. And I'm like, and now you have them this year. Fill the gap.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, and I was in that classroom last year. They did learn it. They just forgot it. Just remind them. Like, it doesn't matter what you think you're supposed to get when you get these kids in your classroom. These are the kids you have. Meet them where they are and then build them from there.
Yeah.
So yes, I just wanted to, sorry. That was just my little soapbox there.
What's the truth? And once you shut people down, they're not going to listen to you, right? So once you make someone feel stupid, once you make someone feel inadequate for like not knowing something, well, you should already come here knowing that you're going to shut them down. So if you want people to grow, you can't punish people for not knowing and asking them to grow at the same time. And that was something I used to really not used to, that I still talk about when it comes to equity. I was like, you can't do both. You can't say, well, you should have known not to say that word and I'm gonna fault you for it, but I also need you to do better. Like how? Like it's a losing battle. You gotta pick one or the other. You either need to say like, hey, let me teach you why that's not okay, or you need to go learn why that's not okay, but it's not okay. But you can't villainize and ask people to grow at the same time. So you have to meet them where they are and go, okay, hey, now let's go further.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of the college professor that on day one brags how hard his or her class is and be like, just so you know, about half of you are going to fail. Right. And that the student agency, for me, part of that is like yes, I can. Yes, you can. And yes, we will. Right. And, but yeah, no, can you kind of talk about like just what buzzwords are, like what that has looked like historically in our space? And on the one hand, I'm like, oh, we won't be talking about AI in like 5 years. But then there's other days I wake up, I'm like, oh, I think we are. Because it's like, it's becoming more and more like within the fabric of like our classrooms and our world. And it'll probably look different.
And it's growing. It's getting new subtopics. So you have like your generative AI, you have your agenic AI, if I said that right. So it's like it's getting more specific now, and so we're still going to be talking about it. But what type of AI are we going to be talking about? And so it's kind of exciting too.
Yeah, we're gonna be
It's going
like
to go.
AI is not going away. Just because we've had it for so long. ATM is AI. Like we've had it for so long, we just didn't call it AI. Like we've been using it for so long. So it's just one of those things
Mm,
where, like you said, what will we be calling it? What will we rename it? What will we, when we have AI robots in every home kind of thing, like what will we call it kind of thing? But I mean, we've been using it for so long. Just your playlist recommending a song is AI, is learning from what you listen to. And so, I mean, we've been using it for so long without, calling it AI. Um, it's just, it's not going to go away. The worst that we will see is right now. So it's only going to get better, whether that is a detriment or whether it's good or bad
Terminator.
for the world is everybody else's opinion. But
mm.
but it's only going to get quote unquote better and more integrated into our lives. So it's not going away. I mean, it's just not. That's like saying the internet's going to go away. Like it's not. The only way any of that's going to go away is if we go into the zombie apocalypse and it's forced for a whole bunch of other stuff to go away too. But it's not going away.
Yeah,
Now, is it still going to be a hot topic? No, it's going to transform like like everything else does.
it'll be a new
So
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think if we're gonna get robots up in here, the first thing it needs to do is know how to purge my inbox. Like if something else can do that part of my day, that'd be great. That'd be
Know
great.
how to do what?
Like just go through my inbox and
Oh,
like my email. Yeah.
but it does
Um
that now. Like you can do a summary of your inbox. You can do something. It's doing stuff like that now,
so
where
can I
it
can I
can
just
say like all these emails. This is what you need to know from it. You can
yeah,
do.
I've been can I just say though, like kind of off topic rant, I'm super scared of that in the same time though, because like if I'm doing that like at work, like that's a lot of information that it's like gathering.
Mhm.
So then that's part of me like, no, I'll do that myself. Thanks, AI. Um,
Yeah, what I want it to do is my laundry and dishes. That's what I want it to do.
we're like the
Take that off
Jetsons.
my load. Yes, that's what I want.
What was the robot's name? I forget what it
Rosie?
is.
Was her name
Rosie. It's
Rosie?
Rosie.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like Rosie from the
Yeah.
Jetsons.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
You want a Rosie? Yes.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm
I
sure
do.
about that. Like they have restaurants now where the waiter is a robot and he'll come bring you food. So I mean, it's here just because we don't have it in our house. Like it already exists. And like I said, just like think about how quickly phones evolved, right?
Mm-hmm.
And from
Hmm.
like having a pager to a phone to this and now to the smartphone. Now the smartphones are smarter than me. So I mean, it's here. It's just whether you want to deal with it or not.
I
Whether you want to
so
deal with it or not.
I don't know if this exists in your area or not, but so like when I go to San Francisco, they're the Uber cars. They're not called Ubers, but they're basically a taxi that is driving itself.
Yeah.
And I don't have it in me to order one. Like I'm and sometimes I have to cross the street out there and there's one that pulls right up and I'm like, don't run me over. Like don't make a mistake and think that I'm not there and then just like go.
I'm
Uh
here.
yeah. It's super creepy. Like I'm sorry, but I want a human driving me always.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a driverless car, but I also, again, I'm very self-reflective. So I remember I said I would never get into Uber or Lyft. I was like, I dare you, sir. I'm never calling a random stranger to come pick me up. Never in my life. And that's all I do is Lyfts and Ubers now. I remember having a meltdown as a teacher in my sixth grade classroom about cameras on phones. I'm like, why would you need a camera that quickly? What world are you living in that you need a camera at the drop of a hat? I mean, when I say went off, like I apologize to whatever students were in my classroom at that time, but went off. Like I remember it. Like if you can't go buy a camera, like why would you need a camera that quick? I mean, so like I remember people in my family like I will never use an ATM. I am going inside. So I mean, it's just one of those things. Like we can say that, and let's see where we are in 10 years. And while I'm sitting in
Right.
the driverless car, being like, Steve, I'm in the driverless car. So,
Yeah.
we
And then
say
you have
things, but we don't know where we're going to be
we're gonna
in some years when it becomes the norm, when it becomes like,
Mm.
duh, why wouldn't you get into a lift? So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
yeah.
say that, but who knows where I'm going to be in 10 years.
Oh,
Then there's
yeah.
me, and I'm like, take me to San Francisco, Steve. I want to get in that car. Yes.
I just see the videos where they like keep driving in a circle and they like trap people. So I'm like, no, fix that first. Fix that and then maybe. But no, I don't want to just be in a circle. I have to call somebody and say, please stop the car. So yeah, no, I don't want that.
Uh,
All right.
I remember teaching my kids, just one last thought on this topic. I remember teaching my kids, like, you need to know these multiplication facts, like how to figure it out on your own, because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. I taught my kids that in my first year, because that wasn't the types of phone, it wasn't on their phones yet. And now it is. Like,
Joke's on you. Joke's on you, Miss Jones.
And now you don't even need a calculator. You just be like, hey Siri, what's the 25,000 times 20? And it'll tell you. So now you don't even need it. Oh, look, Siri came on. Sorry, Siri. But you don't even need a calculator anymore. So we can only imagine, like we can only sit here in 2026 and say this, and that, but we don't know what's coming. We don't know what we're gonna say in 2 years. So yeah.
Very true.
I think it's exciting.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Steve's like, I'm terrified. And I'm like,
No,
let's go.
Like I'm right in the middle. I'm like, it's something. We'll see what happens.
There's only some things that terrify me. Like when it comes to just like travel and safety, but yeah, like all the other cool things, like Sophie and I probably use Gemini the most.
Mm-hmm.
I use ChatGPT. I feel a little bit more than you, Sophie, just with like, we were talking about that yesterday, right? Like, it creates things a little bit better depending on what it is. But yeah, I'm here for it. I'm just saying, I don't want to get in the car. I want to get in the car.
Because then I'm thinking, like I said, in a couple of years, I'll see where I am. Because is it safer for me if I get off a plane at 1:00 in the morning to call a Lyft driven by a stranger, or to call the driverless car to get me where I need to go with no person? So I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm saying, I don't want to get into one, but I don't know where I'm gonna be in a couple of years.
Yeah, I can see that. Like if you're traveling by yourself late at night, I get that.
Which I have done. So
Same.
Which one is safer for me?
Yeah.
I was super excited when Uber had like, I can choose a woman driver.
I agree. I have that list. I have that little buttoned. Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's true. All right, friends. So
we're at that
getting
time
towards the end here. Yeah. And so we're super excited to hear from you, Dr. D. If I can get the right buttons here. So we're going to get that question that we ask everyone on the show. What is under the hat? What is top of mind for you in education right now?
Top of mind. There's so many things. As you probably can tell by my long answers. There's so many things that I really care about in education. And that are top of mind. I think right now it would be just like, and when I say right now, I mean literally right at this second. It would be more of teacher agency and education agency in general. I feel like we are just failing the education system, by some of the decisions that are being made for educators without any input from educators. And it's been a problem, but I feel like it's only getting worse. I also feel like we also have to look at the history of education and why I'm specifically talking about public education, why public education was created versus why it exists today. And I think that when I get really angry and when I get really like what is happening in education, what is my role in it? Am I making it worse? Am I making it better? I actually almost quit doing what I'm doing today. A couple of years ago, I went through a kind of crisis of what am I perpetuating by even doing professional learning or professional development. And I had to. It was a couple of months where I almost just got out of education altogether. Um, but looking at why do we exist and some of the problems that we're having in education and coming to the, in my humble opinion, the very sad realization that I think that the system is working exactly how it's supposed to work. I feel like the system is working exactly for what it was molded into. And I find it really depressing and sad. And I need to see what can I do in my little role in my little space to try to make it better, to try to fight for it to be what we all, it's almost like the Matrix, like what we all think we're here for versus what we're really here for. And I do think that public education these days is to keep the masses exactly where they are. And I think we need to fight that. I think we need to see I think we need to first come to that realization that, we keep looking at it going, well, this isn't working. Well, is it not working or is it working? Is it working for what it has been molded to work for? Because I feel like if public education from what it was molded into was to educate, like if that was the number one, like we want an educated populace, we want everyone in this world to have an education, to critically think, to look at, sales pitches and politicians and all the things and question. I want you to be a questioning society. It wouldn't have been molded to what we are in right now. So I think looking at that, understanding that, realizing that, and then seeing, well, what can we do to fight that is top of mind. I know it's a little heavy. It's not like this one thing, technology. I know it's a little heavy, but that is where I am right now. With what's with the top of mind topic, it's just like, whew, okay, what do we do? What do we do to combat? And I do think that, and if you notice, I'm very much trying to choose my words and not go off the Wild Wild West, because I can go off the Wild Wild West. So I'm trying to choose my words. But I think that the big push back on PBL and DEI and teaching history as history happened, and all these things, and what's the one I'm trying to get something else, but anyway, SEL. I think the big pushback on those things was because we were making so much progress. Is because we were having students have empathy. It's because we were having students critically think more. It was because we were having students go, what's going on? And the pushback happened. And I kept trying to tell people, because we were getting so downtrodden. I'm like, there's only pushback when you're succeeding. If you're doing something that I'm against and you won't succeed, I don't care. I'm gonna be like, oh, sweetie, keep trying. But once you succeed, once you're getting, you're gonna get the. So when you get the pushback, it's like, oh heck, I was making a difference. So yes, that is what's on top of mind. I'm gonna stop talking. That's what's top of mind for me right now.
This piece could just be like an entire
It's
other
yes.
conversation. And so as a former government teacher, a lot of what you hit on, really resonates with me in the sense of something I talk to people about often is like, you look at, I'll use California as an example because that's what I know the best. But we talk a lot out here about, the folks that are really making those decisions about the classrooms. they're all sitting in Sacramento, right?
Mhm.
And have not taught a day in their lives. And depending on the state, depending on the country, like it is to their advantage to make it broken and kind of to underscore what you're getting at, right? And so that's such a dangerous, scary thing.
Mhm.
And for me, it's like who truly suffers in that situation? It's a kid that could be in the Central Valley of California who's in a migrant family who's moving from place to place because their parents are working on the fields and perhaps are not there within legal status, right? And there's like all these things, right? All these nuanced things that that these types of decisions, you know, how they impact these people and impact these families. But like, you know, we don't. They may not want them to critically think, right? They may like, what is actually going on, and just talk at them, people, and compliance. How do we get them to fall in line, right? But does that actually speak to the roots of our democracy, right? Our democratic republic? And so, like, yeah, that's just kind of just my like additional
Yeah.
thoughts to what you
But
said. Yeah.
it's just understanding that you can't fight it until you understand it. Like you can't do better until you get that. You know, and education was created to teach the status quo, which, you know, whether you say good or bad, that's what it was created to say. Hey, this is how we work as a society. Let me show you how to be a worker. Let me show
Mm-hmm.
you how to go to these factories. Let me show you how to sit. Let me show you how to walk in a line. I mean, it was created to teach the status quo, but we're not there anymore. We're here. So what are we doing? Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
love that. Well, now I have a bunch of things to think about now. Thank you, Dr.
I know.
D.
I'm like, Steve and I are going to have a long conversation later, I'm sure.
I'm sure that was
uh,
heavier then, but that is what's on top of mind.
Yeah.
And I told Steve and Sophie, I was like, I'm not even going to think about what I want to say about top of mind until it comes, because I want to see where I'm feeling at that time. And apparently, I was feeling a little heavy, so I'm so sorry.
I love it. Like, I can't agree with you more.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
As a accessibility advocate for my own sons, like knowing in West Virginia and seeing what the system is set up for and how it is failing so many because it's built to fail. It is. So, yeah. Anyways.
And that's where like the work that all three of us do, right? Like it's why it's so important. And like, you know, kind of think about like you used the word movement earlier, Dr. D, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a movement, like of just like trying to move something, you know, try to shift. And so yeah, I've not thought about the work that I do as a movement before, and I'm glad that you have that in my head because now that's going to be something that's living rent free up here for a little bit. So appreciate that. Awesome. All right, friends. Well, we are about ready to wrap up this episode. This has been fun. Dr. D, thank you so much for jumping on and having this
So
conversation.
wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you for
Yes.
having me. Seriously, thank you both.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for all that are watching, listening, you know, Sophie and I are, oops, my face is too big. No one wants that. And see, this is where AI goes wrong. I'm like, I don't want you zooming in AI.
It's like he's saying something important.
Yeah, maybe I was, maybe I'm not. I don't know. But yeah,
Never.
we are. Yeah, thank you. But no, so it is important because I'm plugging Dr. D's whole webinar series that she does.
Oh, yeah.
Super phenomenal. I see you posting and doing that work all the time. Love it. Sophie and I are going to be on that webinar in a month or two. I forget what the exact date is. It's on social.
It's in March.
It's in March. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so super excited about that. We're talking about assessments and how, you know, we navigate all that. So thank you for having us in your space as well.
Of
Yeah.
course, I appreciate it. It's March 28th.
Awesome.
I appreciate y'all coming on. My space is very open for any educator that wants to share. I invite you on. So it's really just a free open space for educators to talk to other educators. So I appreciate y'all
Yeah.
being on.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it.
It's exactly a month from today.
Oh, it is. Yep.
Of course, Sophie would
Hey,
have that
Kismet.
insight. She would recognize that. Be like, oh yes, exactly the month. Very cool. All right, awesome. This has been fun, friends. Until next time, keep your hats on, but your minds open. Bye bye.